The mean stack deployment section. So we're just going to walk through this step by step. You can follow along with the video or right here on the platform. But just to give you a sense of how this goes, we'll just start at AWS. Right, we'll start on our EC2 dashboard and click Launch Instance. And we're going to select the Ubuntu server 1604. This one, the bright green one, general purpose T2 micro. Oh, went back there. Oops, we got to start that again. Okay. Ubuntu T2 micro. Review and launch. And then we're going to come down to security groups and click edit security group. Now I just sort of ran right through that. I want to make sure and check my steps. Okay, cool. We're on set security settings. We want SSH. We got that. I set that to anywhere. I set all mine to anywhere just in case. And then we have HTTP. Also anywhere. And it's called HTTPS. And I'll also do anywhere, and then double checking anywhere. Okay, great. We're going to review and launch. So far that looks good. That looks like what I wanted. You'll see it double up here. That's just fine. Usually you get a duplicate of all of them or sometimes just some of them. And we'll launch it. Choose an existing pair. I already have a key, but I'm going to create a new one just for example's sake. New key. Let's say Angular 2018. And I have a keys folder. I have that hidden on my computer. And I'll save it there. And we'll go ahead and launch instance. So now we have our PEM key, once again keeping that off the internet. Instance is now running. Excellent. So we'll go to view launch log. Okay, looks good. Go to my EC2. Internet's taking a moment. Then we can go to my instances over here on the left. And I'm going to find my new instance right here, the T2 micro. And it's got a green dot. It is running. So I'm going to click that, and now I'm going to connect to it. So here it gives me the connection instructions. So I'm going to navigate. I'm already in it in my keys folder here. So I'm going to copy this first one, change the viewability. Boom. And then down here, the connect, you always want to use the example, so it's down here. Copy that in. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes, that's what I'm doing. Okay, cool. And then you'll see right there, Ubuntu at IP. That means we are in our instance terminal. So, then moving forward, I'll open my terminal up a little bigger so I can see it. And then we're moving down here. So now we've gotten through that first chunk. We're not on a PC. We've entered the cloud server. Great. Excellent. And now we'll start running these commands. One line at a time. I find that if I'm patient and I do this nice and slowly, it goes by way faster than if I rush through it. Because then I miss something. and it all breaks and I have to start over again. Which, if we're lucky, that might happen too. Okay, next line. So far, so good. Okay. Next, Node.js. Okay. Next line. Well, I caught myself, so that was something that worked. So making sure I read carefully that this is in case that did not work. Then there is another option, right, to install npm and then clear the cache. Next, in the Ubuntu server, okay, you know what? I'm going to run this. So I even read that wrong. I'm going to make sure I run every line. Yes. Because I realized I missed my favorite part, which is this one, the sudo npm cache clean. And here's why that's my favorite part. I sure hope you know what you're doing. Next we'll npm install. Boom, perfect. Sudo nstable. Make sure you don't copy this whole line. You just get the nstable. Next for nginx. Yes. And then git. Installing git. Great. Good to go. Now we're going to make our file folder. Can I create directory var file exists? Okay, so if you get that, let's just go and see. Do we have a var? Var is a directory. Cd var, let's go into it and then open it up. It appears we already have a www. Cd www. Great, so we're there. Now, I've noticed some students have that already there, some don't, so if not, it'll create, otherwise you'll see that, but it's good to just check. Now from here, in our www folder, we're going to git clone our project, right? So, let's go to my project. I'm going to do the RESTful Task API. I'm going to click on it, go clone, get the download link, and then sudo git clone, and it'll bring it in. And then I always like to double check, ls, oh, there it is, RESTful Task API. Okay, good. Moving forward. Now to set up nginx, so we're going to cd into our etc folder. Site's available, great. Sudo vim, right. Sudo vim RESTful Task API. Alright, opens up our editor. And we're going to go ahead and copy this next chunk of code in. Alright, and so remember we press I to insert, we copy it in, so now we have private IP and node project port. My node project port right away I know is 8000, because that's what I've been running it on. If you remember on your local host, 8000, so that's that same port. And then our private IP, if you look in your instance, we have private IP right there, so I'll copy that. Boom. And there we go. And then we'll press escape, :WQ to save and quit. Excellent. Moving forward, we'll go to remove the default folder. So when this is created, it creates a default folder. So just so you can see, ls, you have default and RESTful tasks. Right, so we're going to sudo rm default, and then if we ls again, we can see that it's gone. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and copy this big line here, the symbolic link from sites enabled to sites available. So as you can see, we're going to have to put our project name in twice. So I like to just copy right up until the project name, and then type it in, RESTful task API, and then a space, and the rest of it minus the curly braces. You can definitely copy that all in and then delete the curly braces, but this is just how I like to do it. Okay, and then I'm checking for typos. So far so good. Good to go. Copying this next line. Good to go. Same thing, we're going to remove the default folder. So let's look into it. ls, there it is. Sudo rm default. And then we'll check. It is gone. Great. Great. Sudo npm install pm2. Right? So we're going to install pm2 globally. Great. Looks like it worked. And then we're going to go into our project name. So cd var www and cd RESTful task API. Excellent. So there we are. And then we are going to go ahead and start a server, stop a server, and restart it. So let's start with start our server.js. Boom. And there it is. PM2 will give you this nice little table. My server, now you kind of want to keep in mind these ID numbers as we move forward. My server, this is my server.js, is that ID is 0. So now I'm going to stop that. PM2, oh, I'm getting the pinwheel. PM2, stop 0. Boom, and now you can see my 0 server has stopped. Great. And then we'll restart 0. And it's back online. And then we'll copy this next one. Great. So reloaded Nginx and restarted. Now that we have tested our PM2, let's go ahead and do the next step here. So we are in our project folder, sudo npm install. Okay, good to go. Now we're gonna come on over to the MongoDB section, part 6. We'll set up a MongoDB, so we're going to copy this line, the sudo apt key. And then the next line, with one of these below snippets. Now, you notice this first one's 1604, so we're going to come down to 1604 version and paste that in. Excellent. And then we'll go ahead, come on down here, sudo apt get update. And then we'll install Mongo, so it's one or the other of these. I like to try the first one. Great. And then we're going to come down, start. Great. Sudo mongod is next. Right, shutting down with code 100. Okay, so now we'll start with our server. So I noticed I didn't need to do that step, sudo mongod, because I just did it here. And I didn't read super smooth, but that was an okay error. I just tried that out, it didn't work. So now we're going to go to pm2 start mongod. Great. And now you're going to see you've added another thing to your PM2, right? So I have server is at 0, the ID of 0, and mongod is 1. So it looks like both are working. Great. And then we'll do that again. We'll do the PM2 stop. Right, so we're doing PM2 stop 0. But for this one, we're going to stop the mongod server and the server.js will stop the 0. Right, you notice it stopped, and mongod errors, we're going to stop that one. Boom. And then we're going to restart. And restart 1. We're going to start the Mongo server first, and then the 0, server.js. And then we're going to reload Nginx. Okay, great. Now here's a time to check our IP address. Great. So if you notice it says cannot get, which is a good sign because that means everything up until now is working, but what we do see is that our Angular project is not working, right? So our server's running, our mongod's working, but now we need to get the Angular portion working. In order to get the Angular portion of our project working, we need to make sure that we have our node modules folder in our project folder as well as in our Angular folder. So in our project folder, npm install, cd into our task app, Angular project, so task app, great, and then sudo npm install, great. And then we need to build our dist folder. So in order to do that, we will have to install the DevKit core and Angular CLI. So I have these lines of code here, sudo npm install g Angular DevKit core. Great. And then npm install Angular CLI. So that's going to give us that command line interface so that we can do the ng build. Okay, great. And now here we are in my Angular folder, and sudo ng build. Great. So now it's there. Well, it's building. Excellent. And now we can check our server. And there it is. Great. Our app is up and running.